Progress.
Good morning and welcome to this Monday morning episode of Morning Mindset at Full Community Podcast. Join me live right now. Here we're recording. Again, stay tuned. We're just getting set up in the room and I have my camera set up right here.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon or possibly even good evening, depending where we are catching you in the world, or if you are catching us on a possible replay. Roderick H. Norville for Full Circle Podcast, What's Your Story? But right now, it is 8 a.m. Eastern Time, which means it is time for Full Circle Podcast, Morning Mindset, Daily Prime with Arif Galani and Sherry Fallner. Sherry, over to you.
Good morning. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction, Rod. We're just waiting for Arif to join us here.
Morning, everyone.
Hello.
I got questions, Sherry. This morning I got questions. Morning, everyone. Welcome to this episode. Sherry, go ahead. You have some questions.
I have 100 questions, Arif, because you always choose such a compelling topic to show everybody for the day. And when you said that this morning was about questions, I can't wait to hear what nuggets of gold you have for our spiritual entrepreneurs. So why don't you go ahead and lead us, our fearless leader?
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I love the topic of leadership. You humble me. I'm just really a seeker. And the seeker has questions. How was your weekend? How was everybody's weekend, by the way? We're Monday. Come on. This is the why for Monday. Everybody's stuck in traffic right now. They put their music on. Some are listening to the radio. Some are doing other things. We here discussing questions. Really important stuff. Rod, how are you today?
I'm feeling great, Arif. I have had a interesting character building last couple of weeks, but just to be settled, to be grounded, it helps with focus, helps with efficiency. So I just can't wait to get the day started.
Wonderful. Again, welcome everybody. We get the chance every morning for half an hour to be together, to learn from each other. Sherry very rightfully reminded me today that, Arif, we're teaching entrepreneurs the skills to build their businesses. Am I correct? Yeah. I'm so excited about this because I've been on this journey of learning for the last 30 years, Sherry. But it all started with a big question mark inside his head. I couldn't get rid of it. I just was curious, like how to develop a childlike enthusiasm. How's that for the rest of your life? Is that a good topic?
That's a great topic.
See, children question everything. A part of what we learn as entrepreneurs is to have a childlike enthusiasm, to have the skills to present your business. See, it's all about communication. It's all going to come together, Sherry. I'm so excited for your move. I'm so excited for what's happening with Rod and everybody else in this community. We're growing together because we have questions and we communicate those questions. So Jim Rohn, my like the godfather of personal development, he is incredible in communication. We have their audios. If anybody likes to listen to what I'm listening to, just message us. Tracy Lynn is there. She's going to receive all messages. Let's assign one person to receiving messages because we get bombarded with messages here. Right? Mm-hmm. Because people have questions. Sherry Lynn. Sherry. That was yes, Tracy sir? And Sherry, Lynn and Lynn Jones. I mixed them up. Sherry Lynn. Go ahead.
Sherry Lynn.
Nice to see you. Lynn Jones. Go ahead, Sherry. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how, Mark brings on this cute kid on camera and I get completely distracted by all the cuteness.
Cuteness overload system.
The part of the journey is to stay focused.
Here's what I want to know is questions. How does the topic of questions relate to entrepreneurship and spiritual entrepreneurship? You gave us 3 categories before the show. Why don't you run through those with us?
I really appreciate it. These notes that we are handing out with designing this to have a talk show for 365. See, if you get the morning right, rest of the day will flow right.
Right.
Because the morning smells like money. Rod likes this. I like to do this sometimes. I had an incredible weekend. People had so many questions. And 95% of all questions asked to me as an entrepreneur, as a person who took an idea, turned it into a business, are repetitive questions. So our aim is to address some of those questions. And how do you address it? I cannot answer every question for you, but Jim Rohn lays it out beautifully. He says, life is worthwhile if puts a little bit of a gear shift in there. Number one, if you learn. The first learning experience I had, Sherry, of Canada was my jaw was broken. I'm in a hospital bed like this and people are coming. I can't even eat. So they asked me what, they brought me little children's books and stuff like that. And I asked for a map. I had so many questions. That map just put my eyes on Canada. I'm lying down in a hospital bed looking at this, all broken up. I had so many questions. And then I started to learn. See, learn. Learn is the second step to those questions. Right?
Okay.
And how do you learn? You try. Nothing happens till you try. Whatever topic of your interest is, I'm using Canada as an example. Let's say you're Sherry. You have questions. How can I build a business to teach other entrepreneurs to promote their businesses? You had some questions in the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And God himself says, ask. Don't he say ask? What are you asking? I'm asking questions because the most interesting person in any room is the most interested person.
Yeah.
Why? You have questions. Sherry, it's been such a blessing to have you here, and you're in the middle of a move, but you always question. I love it. To expand, to unfold, to verbalize what we really mean in our communications. So number one is if you learn. Number two is if you try. Just try these words down. Write them down. Learn. Life is worthwhile if you learn. Now, learning what you want, the topic of your choice is your passion, your purpose, whatever you're pursuing. Number two, if you try. So once you learn something, you have to do something about it. With kids, let's say we set up a bar 2 feet high and we say, okay, let's jump over. Some kids will say, I can. Some kids will not be able to do it. They say, I can't. But if you set the measure at a bar, I said, this is the standard. This is how everybody's jumping. Let's try. And my kid might run and knock it over. Does that mean he failed? No, that means that he start to earlier jump next time, go a little bit higher, change the technique, maybe whatever to go over that hump. Entrepreneurship is about problem solving. And the more questions you can master to answer, the more valuable you become. Yes, sir.
I love that, Arif, about the try. I remember, if I think about it, this passion project idea full circle. I'm doing some Facebook Lives, and it was actually Sherry that approached me, had a conversation, planted the seed about YouTube, and here we are today. So when you said try, I was thinking about how I wasn't, if it wasn't for Sherry, going to take my own coaching and advice. You remember we used to say to people, like, I can't do this. I go, no, wait. You got to be good before you can be great. You got to be bad before you can be good. And before you can be bad, you got to try. You got to try. And Sherry got me to step out and try. And now we're putting structure behind things and it's all coming together. But at first, we had to try. So I love this. Thank you. Back to you, Arif.
Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Sherry, for having questions. The mind, Rumi says, is like an ocean. The mind. Be an eternal question mark. The price you pay for success is eternal vigilance. Sherry?
So I love this topic, and I want to bring this into something a little, I want to bring this into some practical takeaways for our spiritual entrepreneurs here, because one of the most common missteps I see with people starting out in business is that they have this grand vision for their business, for their entrepreneur endeavors, but they fail to ask the questions. They're just so confident that they have a good idea, that that's what they want to bring out to the world. But you have to ask not only questions, you have to ask the right questions. So, you know, number one is to learn what your audience is asking, because our audience, what are they asking? How do I start my entrepreneurial business? Can I make money in my entrepreneurial business? All of these questions, but we don't know that. We have to go to our audience and say, what is it that you are asking that we can bring value for, right? And then, you know, try, like Rod says. And then the third one, I'm going to give it away, Arif, because the third one is, to me, the most impactful one. You said if you learn, if you try. The third one, if you stay. Keep asking those questions, keep trying. And then, you know, they say 95% of new businesses fail because I think you just stop trying and you don't have that drive to push through when things get tough. So over to you, Rod.
That's good. As I see Shannon Brown, her head goes down. I used to love Arif being at the meetings, and we'd be on stage talking, and we'd say something, you'd see a bunch of heads go down, and you get that, I get those dopamine butterflies. I'm like, oh, some people got it. Some people got it. And I just watched Shannon's head go down on this one because I've heard it out of her mouth. She always says, stick and stay, stick and stay, stick and stay. It's stick-to-itiveness. Don't quit. Over to you, Arif.
Thank you, friends. Thank you, everyone who's going to be watching. I love Rod is recording this on podcast because people could listen to this when they go for a walk or they're just sitting down in a learning zone. People don't have the directed material to listen to because they're not asking quality questions. That's what you said, Sherry. It's called quality questions. Now, what's a quality question? It's, of course, a quality question. What did you have for dinner last night? But it's not entrepreneurship question. The questions of entrepreneurs start with how. How do I? How do I learn the skill? Once I learn it, how do I try it? And number three, once I try it, I gotta stay. I'm a farming community. I come from a farming family. We used to plant a lot of seed, hope and pray and all of this. And the birds would take some. You know, the dry days would dry up some. But if you stay, if you keep on watering, if you keep on caring, if you keep on flourishing this garden that you want to create, and you stay till fall to bear the fruit of what you have sown, is incredible. That's a life of purpose. That's what we talk about. Carol, I see you shaking your head. I love to see people, light bulb, light bulb, light bulb, yes. So for entrepreneurs, Lynn, this is what we do here. We actually will break it down. First of all, is it a business they're trying to promote or is it an opportunity they're looking for? That's the difference. Okay, there's masses of people out there for both. But the side of opportunity is bigger because it takes time to create systems where people can plug and play. That's why network marketing was so lucrative. I pay a nominal fee, I go into a business, and I learn from Rod, and I boom, 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 bye, ooh. And then at the end, right? If you stayed, if you persevered, if you endured enormous pain, you would make $1 million a year. That's such an interesting system to me. Because we can teach that right here and we can put better system in place to make sure that the percentage of successful entrepreneurs is up high. By how? How do we do this? My questions, Rod. You have Sherry as let's go.
I love that you said that. I love that you laugh as you talk about the pain and the struggles. I see Mark Harnum has a hand, and when you started laughing and smiling, his hand went up. I went, light bulbs, like you said. Mark Harnum, you have a question or a comment for Arif or Sherry?
Yeah, I just, this has been a theme all week. Asking good questions all has to do with your target audience. And, on Altar Call, you call it an avatar. I never heard that term before, but just this past week, it's been all about getting really specific on who you're looking for, who you're looking to help. And, I said, nobody can help everybody on the planet. So your target audience can't be everybody. It has to be somebody specific. And the more specific you get, the more efficient you're going to be, the more successful you're going to be. So, yeah, I just wanted to leave it with that because, asking these questions is all about that, right? What we're doing, we're sifting through people. We're still making friends. We're making them feel happy. We're making them feel awesome. And then, we're looking for our people. So, anyways, with that, I'm done. Thanks.
Beautiful. I'm going to relate a story that I use this story all the time, and I'll use it again and again. You're going to hear it more than once if you keep tuning in. But when we fail to ask questions, we're assuming what our audience wants to hear. So let's just take the example of somebody trying to start a personal training business, right? They start advertising, you know what, I use the latest techniques, I've got the best equipment, I do this, I do that. Without asking questions, you're not gaining, oh, thank you, Rod. You're not gaining information. So this person was not getting customers until he started to hear what his customers' pain points were. He switched his marketing to, I help you look good naked. Nobody cares that you have the latest techniques. Nobody cares that he had the best equipment. I help you look good naked. He couldn't keep up with his customers because he learned to ask the right question. This is why questions are so important. Learn what your audience's pain points are. Don't talk about yourself and what you offer. Talk about the problems you solve, and you don't understand the problems you solve until you ask the questions. So with that, I'm complete, and I'll send it over to Arif.
Good, Sherry. That's good.
Wonderful community collaboration here. Mark, I'm really proud of you. I could see you exactly like Rod and I was doing on the stage. You coming on the stage in a nice 6-piece suit and with that hair and beard and really giving a great speech. Okay, I have a very vivid imagination. Entrepreneurs have to do that. You have to be able to visualize the future. And you wouldn't be able to do that unless you have some quality questions. How about your health? How would I look if I was 185 pounds? How would I look if I didn't need a doctor? How would I look if I called myself a self-healer? That's what I call myself. We're all self-healers. The body has the incredible machinery to heal itself from any illness. I have proof of all of this we talk about. Number 2, how do I build quality relations? Lynn Jones, your hands up. We got some time. Shoot.
Hi, I just wanted to maybe add, because this kind of came to my thought. I love absolutely everything that you're saying, and I'm writing notes because that's to me. Because I will never remember later on. But what just came to my mind is timing. Because we can ask all the questions, but if you're asking the question at the wrong time to that particular audience, you're not going to get the right answer. And there's nothing wrong with going back to that same audience and asking the question again later on. Because then they might have a different answer, or they may understand it better themselves and know more what they're looking for. And now you can provide for them what your product can fix for them. But timing is everything. And I can't remember who I learned that from, somewhere in the past, but no's just probably no for now, ask again later.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And with that, I'm complete.
Arif?
Yes, that's wonderful. Thank you, Lynn, for your contribution. See, all of us have the world of information, because we go through life with two experiences that we experience ourselves, the things that we experience. We can also learn from other people's experiences. Just we need to ask them questions, quality questions. See, becoming a millionaire has been studied, and it's been put in books, and it's been presented in books like $20, $30, $40, the quality of life, everything, right? But if you're not curious, you're not going to buy the book. You're not going to read it if you have it. You're not even opening the first page. You just buy it because you like me. No, I've given out more books that I've sold, believe it or not. It's just about to reach, bestseller, Canadian bestseller 2,500. But most of them, I want to give away. Because the more I give away, it comes back, because I have gone through this questioning life. How to put yourself on the path to success. Become an internal question mark. Once you have good quality questions and answers, then you apply yourself. Shannon Brown, welcome to the camera.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. It's absolutely gorgeous out. I love this segment. And one of the things I often find when prospecting, right? Oftentimes think people are really asking, 3 questions. Number 1 is, can I do what's being done to me? Number 2 is, do I want to do what's being done to me? And number 3 is, do I have time to do what's being done to me? And oftentimes I find that those are the 3 questions that I asked when I was approached about my opportunity. But more importantly, when we're out prospecting and building our teams, those are the questions these folks are asking themselves. If I'm piquing interest and asking to share a video and maybe follow up with a 3-way call, we don't want it to be weird, right? And so we don't want our prospects to think like, what's going on? Oftentimes people say, well, what do I do next? Yeah. And I'll say, what did I do to you? I smiled, I said hi, I give you a compliment, asked is this your dream job, and they'd be like, oh gee, no, not really, and just so piquing interest, asking questions, and then asking, if I shared a video, would they find time to watch it if the money was exciting enough?
Beautiful.
Right? So anyway, that's you. I'm complete.
Arif, when we talk about questions, and that was great stuff, Shannon, because it triggered me in a positive way. Arif, the specific questions you remember we used to ask back in the day, are they between 25 and 50? Are they married? Do they have children? Do they work a full-time job? Are they a homeowner? We were dialing that in. Those specific questions were to increase the probability of success, because we're looking for people that were looking for us. So if we were marketing a income protection, life insurance, a 19-year-old working a part-time job at Tim Hortons, living in the basement of his mom and dad's house, just doesn't have the same financial responsibilities. So it's so key, so important. Sherry, thank you for this. It's a great reminder. Arif, back to you.
I have to call this episode, Sherry, you always give me feedback. I have to choose this one. Was the most participated, the most exciting, because we all have questions. I want to thank everybody who participated. This is not really just me talking in the morning. It's you guys. Imagine, maybe I am one, but imagine how many people I learned from. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm taking a note. Some for me. Okay. Thank you, Lynn Jones, Mark, and everybody else who participated. You guys are amazing. You make this community fun because we know each other, we trust each other, we have quality questions for each other. See, when you have quality questions and they give you the answers, then you can analyze it. Yes, no, right, wrong. God has given us that. Yes, Sherry. Oh, thank you.
I want to end up with 2 solid questions that every single person in this room can ask their target audience, their clients. First off, would you recommend me to your friends and family?
Lovely question. I just have to interrupt you. Love it. Go ahead.
Number 2, why? Those are 2 solid questions that we can all take away today from this podcast. And I think we have less than a minute. So Rod, over to you to close us out.
Beautiful. Can we blow it up in the chat? Just some snaps if you're on cam. And I'm looking today almost 100% cameras on as we grow. And I don't know about you guys, it's a different energy with cameras on. Would you guys agree? Would you guys agree?
Thank you.
And guys, I want you to think about that as you go out into
Thank
the
you,
world
Christine.
today.